Welcome to adding vectors graphically, and as the title implies, we're going to use graphics or drawing to add vectors. Now to add vectors graphically, we do the following. 1. Place the vectors head to tail. Now remember, you can move the vector arrows on a piece of paper any place as long as you don't change their length or direction. 2. To find the sum, we draw the resultant, which is the sum of the vectors, from the tail of the first vector to the head of the last vector. And we do a quick little example here so you get an idea what we're talking about. As the example says, add these two vectors. And there are the vectors, A and B. And we place the tail of the tail of B at the head of A. And again, notice neither the length nor direction of either vector has been altered. And we draw the resultant from the tail of the first to the head of the last one. And we give it the symbol R. Example number 2, add these two vectors. Now this particular example is going to show you that sometimes the drawings get a little hard to look at or hard to see, and you might take some steps to do things a little differently. Here we go. Here's A from here to here. B, we take the tail of B, put it on the head of A, brings us back to this point. And then we draw the resultant from the tail of the first to the head of the last vector, in this case the second one, B. Now it's hard to see things here. Everything's laying on top of each other, even though they're different colors. Hard to see what's going on. So what I did is I took A and B, I put them in these positions. Notice I aligned the tail of tail of B with the head of A. Brings us to here. Then I draw the resultant from the tail of the first to the head of the last one, and R is right here. Now this R, from this length, and this R right here have the same magnitude and direction. Okay, let's go with another example. Add these three vectors, and you notice they're A, B, and C. They are not at right angles to each other. And again, we've placed them all head to tail, A, B, and C, and we drew the resultant from the tail of the first to the head of the last vector. Label it R. Okay, note, you can add vectors in any order and get the same results. For example, if you add 1 plus 2 plus 3, you get 6. You can add 3 plus 2 plus 1 and still get 6. The same thing applies to vector. You can add vectors. You can add them in any order. Practice problem number 1. Add the vectors from the last example in a different order. And here's a little hint. That means you draw the vectors in a different order. Stop the tape. Do work the problem. Compare your answers to what's seen on the screen. Okay, welcome back. Let's see what we got. Here we have the vectors added in A, C, and B order. Notice they're all head to tail. The length and directions have not been changed. We draw the resultant from the tail of the first to the head of the last one. And if you compare this vector R with the previous vector R, you notice the same length and direction. All right. Example problem number 2. Add these vectors. And it's pretty straightforward, so it should be no problem for you. Again, stop the tape, do the problem, and compare your answers to what's provided. All right, here we go. Notice that here A and B are head to head, and just move them head to tail. And then draw the resultant from the tail of the first to the head of the last one. You get this nice little vector R right there. All right, thanks for your time. I hope this helped. Please feel free to leave a comment. Helps me make changes and let me know if what I said is clear. And feel free to sign into my channel so you get information when new videos are posted.